start off our discussion today, I'd like to give our viewers an idea or a definition of corporate governance. How would you define corporate governance in today's context?
Corporate governance refers to, for me, three P's basically, a framework of three P's, that's policies, practices, and processes. Basically, that ensures accountability, fairness, and transparency in the company's operation and relationships with its stakeholders. It also defines roles and responsibilities of the board, the management, shareholders, and other stakeholders, providing structure through which companies are directed and controlled. Basically, at SLID, we champion corporate governance as a vital component of businesses' success by promoting governance education and best practices. SLID helps businesses improve decision-making quality and build sustainable, trustworthy organizations that create long-term value. Corporate governance in Sri Lanka is supported by a robust regulatory framework, including the Companies Act, SEC regulations, and the Corporate Governance Code issued by the CSE. While leading organizations demonstrate progress areas like transparency, stakeholder engagement, SMEs and family-owned businesses faces challenges such as resource constraints, limited awareness, resulting in inconsistent adoption of governance practices. We play a key role at SLID in advancing corporate governance in Sri Lanka by raising awareness, provide training, and fostering dialogue among business leaders.
How important is it for business leaders in Sri Lanka to ensure the prevalence of corporate governance today?
Corporate governance is essential for business leaders as it fosters trust, credibility while mitigating risk. A strong governance framework ensures regulatory compliance, ethical leadership, and accountability, creating a foundation for sustainable growth and resilience. We support business leaders by providing education, training, and resources to help them embed governance into their organization. Through this effort, SLID helps leaders position their business for sustainable success while meeting the expectations of a diverse stakeholders.
Corporate governance has always been a hot topic, more so today. We talk about all of this and more with Anitra Perera. Stay tuned.
Some bonds give more returns. Get more security and more interest on your fixed deposits from Sri Lanka's largest finance company, LMDtv Finance.
The latest issue of LMD is available at lmdmall.lk. You can also access the digital version on Press Reader, Maxter, our social media platforms, and WhatsApp. The Voice of Business, a legacy of 30 years.
Hello and welcome to LMDtv. The topic of conversation today is corporate governance, and I'm here with the CEO of Sri Lanka Institute of Directors, Anitra Perera. Ms. Perera, welcome to our show, and thank you for being a part of it.
Happy to be there.
To start off our discussion today, I'd like to give our viewers an idea or a definition of corporate governance. How would you define corporate governance in today's context?
Corporate governance refers to, for me, three P's basically, a framework of three P's, that's policies, practices, and processes. Basically, that ensures accountability, fairness, and transparency in the company's operation and relationships with its stakeholders. It also defines roles and responsibilities of the board, the management, shareholders, and other stakeholders, providing structure through which companies are directed and controlled. In today's context, corporate governance extends beyond compliance, integrating ethical leadership, long-term value creation, and sustainability. It also emphasizes critical elements such as digital transformation, diversity, proactive stakeholders, engagement to address challenges in a rapidly evolving business landscape. By fostering robust decision-making and balancing interests of all stakeholders, governance lays the foundation for responsible and sustainable business practices. Basically, at SLID, we champion corporate governance as a vital component of businesses' success by promoting governance education and best practices. SLID helps businesses improve decision-making quality and build sustainable, trustworthy organizations that create long-term value.
And looking at the local picture, what does corporate governance look like in Sri Lanka?
Corporate governance in Sri Lanka is supported by a robust regulatory framework, including the Companies Act, SEC regulations, and the Corporate Governance Code issued by the CSE. While leading organizations demonstrate progress areas like transparency, stakeholder engagement, SMEs and family-owned businesses faces challenges such as resource constraints, limited awareness, resulting in inconsistent adoption of governance practices. Emerging themes like ESG criteria, ethical leadership, digital transformation are increasingly gaining traction. Technologies like digital board portals, compliance tools, and helping companies enhance decision-making and transparency through broader adoption is needed across sectors. We play a key role at SLID in advancing corporate governance in Sri Lanka by raising awareness, provide training, and fostering dialogue among business leaders. Collaborative efforts between regulators and professional bodies and businesses are essential for cultivating governance culture aligned with benchmarks and enabling Sri Lanka to attract investment and foster sustainable growth.
And in your opinion, how important is it for business leaders in Sri Lanka to ensure the prevalence of corporate governance today?
Good question. Corporate governance is essential for business leaders as it fosters trust, credibility while mitigating risk. A strong governance framework ensures regulatory compliance, ethical leadership, and accountability, creating a foundation for sustainable growth and resilience. By embedding governance into their strategies, leaders can enhance investor confidence and align organizational goals with stakeholder interests. In an era heightened for scrutiny and global focus on ESG criteria, governance has become a strategic enabler. Leaders who prioritize governance are better equipped to navigate uncertainties, address social and environmental challenges, and drive long-term value creation. Also, governance fosters a culture of accountability, enabling businesses to attract talent, retain customers, and also build strong relationships with partners and communities. We support business leaders by providing education, training, and resources to help them embed governance into their organizations. Through these efforts, SLID helps leaders position their business for sustainable success while meeting the expectations of diverse stakeholders.
It's time now to take a very short break, but we'll soon be back to talk more about corporate governance.
Display your brand message on digital screens at prime locations. The largest digital advertising network in Sri Lanka. Emerging Media.
Welcome back to the show. I'm in conversation with the CEO of Sri Lanka Institute of Directors, Anitra Perera. Ms. Perera, how do you think that corporate directors should balance compliance, performance, and profitability?
A big question and very hard to answer, but let me break it down for you. Corporate directors must balance compliance, performance, and profitability by adopting strategic approach that integrates these elements into an organization's vision. Compliance with laws and regulations is a fundamental requirement, ensuring integrity and reducing legal and reputational risk. Also, at the same time, directors must drive innovation, operational efficiency, and growth to enhance performance and profitability. Embedding governance into business strategies allows directors to align short-term objectives with long-term sustainability. This involves addressing factors like ESG, considering diverse stakeholder interests to create a shared value. Also, ethical leadership and informed decision-making are essential for maintaining this balance and enabling directors to foster trust and accountability while driving innovation. SLID supports directors by providing governance training and also reduces them to help navigate balance effectively. By promoting transparency, adaptability, continuous learning, equips directors to enhance organizations' resilience and stakeholder trust, while at the end of the day, achieving a sustainable profitability.
If I ask you, what are your recommendations to businesses in general on developing an ethical code of conduct or ethical guidance code, if you may, to ensure that corporate governance is adhered to and is prevalent in their companies?
So since it's a little complex question, I'm going to break it down into 5, or maybe 3 or 4 points, or maybe stretch it to 5. First thing is to engage stakeholders, involve board members, management, employees, external experts, and like consultants in drafting the code to ensure it reflects in the organizational values and addresses unique challenges. Collaborative input fosters ownership and commitment at the end of the day. Second one would be to set clear principles based on the code of transparency and accountability, integrity, fairness, addressing areas such as conflict of interest, anti-corruption, decision-making processes, and employee conduct. Third one, align with global standards. Benchmark the code against frameworks like the OECD Principles of Corporate Governance or the UN Global Compact to demonstrate commitment to high standards. Another one would be, what we do is ensure accessibility and training. Make sure the code is easily accessible and provide regular training to educate employees on its application. Practical workshops and case studies enhance understanding. And finally, the most important, monitor and review. Establish a mechanism for regular monitoring and feedback to keep the code relevant. Don't wait for things to come to a bad state. Open for reporting channels, periodic updates, reinforce commitment to governance principles. See, at the end of the day, we as an institute also plays an instrumental role in guiding organizations through this creation and implementation of these ethical codes, ensuring these efforts are strengthened for governance, cultivating trust, accountability, and sustainable success, which will lead to Sri Lanka going forward.
We're almost at the end of our discussion. So as a final question, I'd like to ask you, looking at directors of companies in Sri Lanka, how should they enhance their professionalism and effectiveness?
So directors in Sri Lanka can enhance their professionalism and effectiveness by prioritizing continuous learning. That's what Sri Lanka Institute directors are there for. Participating in governance training programs, certifications offered by us and the other institutes ensures directors stay up to date on trends, regulations, global best practices. This knowledge equips them to address complex challenges and provide strategic guidance effectively. Also, ethical leadership is equally important for directors. They must lead by example, demonstrating integrity, transparency, and accountability. This fosters governance culture that builds trust and aligns the organization with stakeholder expectations. Another important thing is strong communication and stakeholder engagement. Skills further enhances directors' ability to align company objectives with a broader stakeholder interest. SLID basically re-emphasize on the importance of fostering inclusive and collaborative board dynamics, where diverse perspectives lead to balanced decision-making. Regular performance evaluations, feedback mechanisms help directors identify an area for improvement. Also, at the end, drive continuous growth, which all companies look for. By committing to these practices, I think directors can contribute meaningful to their organization's success and help elevate corporate governance standards in Sri Lanka.
We've been in conversation with the CEO of the Sri Lanka Institute of Directors, Anitra Perera. Ms. Perera, it was lovely having you on our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our viewers for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. Thank you for watching and stay safe.